We're going to cover the last, could be one question, but it's three questions of Chapter 2, numbers 10, 11, and 12. During a debate on the floor of the U.S. Senate, Senator Crichton states our nation should not devote so many of its fully employed resources to producing capital goods because we already are not producing enough consumption goods for our citizens. Compared with the other labeled points on the diagram, which one could be consistent with the current production combination choice that Senator Crichton believes the nation has made? Well, let's make sure we're clear on our definitions of terms between capital goods and consumption goods. Here's a redraw of what's in the book. Why would this senator think that we could be producing too much for capital goods? We should be producing more consumption goods. Well, capital goods are like property, plant, and equipment. They're like tools. They're stuff that makes stuff. Consumption goods are like our clothing and our food and our recreation and our day-to-day wants and needs. So that would be the argument for having too much of the stuff that's not as fun or not of as much of what we need now. And that might be the basis for this, and hopefully it reinforces the meaning of the terms. Let's start with the italicized current production. What point does the drawing itself imply, and is synonymous with it, or why is the author saying this current production? What point could we not be at currently? The answer to that question is D. D is beyond our production possibilities frontier, given the current resources we have. With economic growth, the development or discovery of new resources, we could get out to D, but we're just not there in any combination that we can do. So D is out. That can't be the answer to the question. The other telltale sign, another telltale sign of the question, is that the senator says fully employed resources. What point does that eliminate? That eliminates A, because A is an inefficient point. The resources used to make A are not being fully utilized because the curve is our production possibilities. It represents full use of our resources, and A isn't on the curve. A is beneath the curve, so A is out. It can't be A. So we have C and B to choose from. Well, this particular senator doesn't like how much of our resources we're devoting to the production of capital goods. Says we're producing too much for capital goods, not enough for consumption goods. So of C and B, which one would that be? Well, on the capital goods number scale, this is very high and this is very low. So this is the one that's producing more capital goods, and if you look down on the consumption goods scale, that's all the consumption goods that are being produced for C, but this much is being produced for B. So it must be that Senator Crichton says we are at C, and Senator Crichton would like us to be at something maybe more like B. So that is number 10. Let's check out number 11. In response to Senator Crichton's statement, reported in 10, Senator Long replies, we must remain at our current production combination if we want to be able to produce more consumption goods in the future. Of the labeled points on the diagram, which one could depict the future production combinations Senator Long has in mind? I'll get there, but let me make sure I point out why Senator Long would be arguing for this. Since capital goods are tools, stuff that makes stuff, by making a lot now, we'll have those tools in the future to be able to make more stuff, tools or consumption goods, because they're used in production. They become a resource. So we're making resources today, a lot of resources today, so that in the future we'll have greater production possibilities because they're tools and they can produce in the future. So what point is Senator Long suggesting we can get to in the future? Well, if we could be at C or B today, A is not even making full use of our resources. The point that we could get to in the future, if we have more tools, if we create more tools, since tools are a productive resource, that is D. So D is the future production possibilities combination that we might get to. Then, number 12, Senator Borman interjects the following comment after statements by Crichton and Long. In fact, both of my esteemed colleagues are wrong because an unacceptably large portion of our nation's resources are currently unemployed. Of the labeled points on the diagram, which one is consistent with Senator Borman's position? Well, unemployment is to be willing and able to work, but without a job. So it's a productive resource not currently being used in production. One of our points illustrates resources not being used in production. The production possibilities curve is full use of our resources. So it would be full employment, but A is telling us that some resources aren't being used because it's not out to the curve. So A is what Senator Borman is referring to in number 12. So that is 10, 11, and 12.